Hello again. Well, I said I was gonna try and crank this story out fast, so I'm taking advantage of some time off. Thanks to all who are tuning in to listen further, and just get ready, because after Chapter 1, where nothing really happened, this is where the chapters get longer and things get really dark really fast. So I'm just gonna get going, and I hope all of you keep enjoying. Chapter the 2nd. Witless Witness. A deep pounding techno beat exploded from two huge speakers mounted on a big stage. A spotlight flashed on and swung its way mid-stage. There stood a mysterious figure behind a DJ table. The figure reached up and flung a record onto the table. Suddenly, the techno beat was replaced with a rapid high tone and several loud thumps. The mysterious figure began to bob its head back and forth, and several more spotlights clicked on and swung to the figure. "And now, DJ Pone 3!" A suave voice rang out from the speakers. Vinyl swung her head up and grinned as the speakers erupted into a magical melody of techno, classical, and punk rock. She was rocking out at the biggest club in Equestria as the star DJ. The crowd was cheering, and glow sticks were flying in all directions. Mosh pits began to pop up everywhere, and shit was getting crazy. And then a soft stallion's voice, seemingly from nowhere at all, called out. All of the music stopped, and every pony froze in place. Vinyl jolted out of her sleep, only to see her assistant, Tucker Sari. He was a rather young stallion, still pretty much a colt. His eyes were a deep brown, and his mane was very much gray. For such a young one, he looked very old. Vinyl groaned and rolled over. "What is it, Tuck?" she grumbled, rubbing her eyes. "We've arrived in Manhattan, ma'am," Tucker said, flicking on a dim light. Vinyl sat up, her hair in a brilliant mess, standing up on all ends. She eyed the maroon stallion for a second. His cutie mark was a notepad and a cup of coffee. "What time is it?" she asked, blinking to adjust to the light. 2, ma'am," the assistant said, glancing at his watch. "In the afternoon?" Vinyl said, still half asleep. No, in the morning," Tucker said sheepishly. 2 in the morning," Vinyl said, her eye twitching. "You woke me up at 2 in the morning to tell me we've arrived in Manhattan?" Vinyl screeched, her nostrils flaring. Tucker flinched as she screamed. Yes, Miss Brake requested I wake you so you may be ready to see the club," he said, one eye shut, afraid he would be yelled at again. "Club?" Vinyl said, snapping to an upright position. Yes, ma'am. She wants you to be the first DJ to play at Club Techno Trestle. It's just opened down the street," Tucker said, a bit calmer now that Vinyl wasn't yelling anymore. By the time Tucker had finished his sentence, Vinyl had gotten out of bed, styled her hair, brushed her teeth, and had her signature purple shades on. "All right, thanks, Tuck," Vinyl said, trotting out of the room. As she stepped out of the Ponylicious bus, she looked around at the modern architecture and bright streetlights. It was hard to believe that a little more than a year ago, she was just a small-time freelance DJ working any gig she could find out of desperation. Birthday parties, welcome-home parties, farewell parties, funerals. But not anymore. No longer was DJ Pone 3 a nobody. She was a household name. Well, as long as that household was a nightclub. After the initial shock was over, she glanced around for the club. She could see a brightly lit neon sign down the street that read Club Techno Trestle in glowing cyan letters. Even from down the street, the club looked amazing. As she neared the building, the neon lights got brighter and sharper. Her heart began to race each step closer. Step by step, she got more excited, and couldn't help but hold a smile. In no time at all, Vinyl was standing at the huge front doors, out of breath from anxiety. She couldn't hold her excitement as she burst through the doors, expecting a huge crowd cheering her on and paparazzi to pester her. But to her disappointment, it was empty. Her ears drooped and she sighed, trotting on. "Big break?" she called out, her voice echoing around the main hall. "Boss?" she called out again, popping her head around the corner. She could hear a faint voice coming from down the hall, so she headed towards it. It was really dark, and she could barely see her hoof in front of her face. As she neared closer, she could make out the voice. There were three. The deep, croaking voice of an older stallion, the soft, dry voice of a middle-aged mare, and the familiar voice of Big Break. The conversation sounded serious, business stuff probably, so Vinyl decided to listen without interrupting. She moved closer to the voices, finding herself at a dead-end hallway, next to a door with a tinted window.
"Please, please don't!"
Big Break cried, obviously begging.
My apologies, Miss Break, but we have evidence that you have been trafficking drugs for the past 8 years. Due to your ignorance of the law, we've been forced to...
said the heavy-voiced stallion. He paused to search for a word.
"Eliminate you."
The mayor finished the sentence for him.
What? Eliminate?
Vinyl thought, her curiosity piqued. She poked her head through the door, only to find it led to a dark alley. Big Break was leaning against a wall, her face bruised and bloody. The other two ponies were wearing classy black suits, and had a pair of silenced pistols in their hooves.
Wait, what? How in the world were they holding pistols?
Vinyl stuck her head out more, and upon further inspection, it seemed like they had some strange boot-like device on their hooves. It allowed them to hold the pistol in their hoof instead of in their mouth.
What the hell? Who are these ponies? And what the hell is that on their hooves?
Vinyl pondered.
"Wait! Hold on! We can wake something out, please!"
Break cried out, tears streaming down her face. Vinyl's eyes widened. It was like watching a movie. Strangely, she wished for some apple fries to eat.
"Sorry, Miss Break," said the mayor, "but we can't do that."
Without warning, the two suited ponies opened fire on Big Break. 18 bullet holes popped up all over Break's body, spraying deep crimson blood across the wall. Break tried to scream, but when she opened her mouth, blood flooded her lungs and poured out of her mouth. Vinyl watched on with horror as what looked like gallons upon gallons of blood seeped, sprayed, and poured out of her boss's body. As horrible as it was, she couldn't help but stand there and watch. The stallion fired one last shot into Big Break. He fired on her cutie mark, instantly making it disappear into a dark hole that filled with blood. Both of the shooters sighed and turned around. Unfortunately for Vinyl, she was still frozen on the spot, staring at the bloodbath before her.
"Who?"
started the stallion, but he was cut off as Vinyl kicked him into the wall and sped off down the alley, tears flooding her eyes.
"I just witnessed a murder! A murder!"
Vinyl thought as she sprinted down the alley as fast as she could.
"And now they're going to kill me!"
Vinyl didn't stop running until she was at least 2 blocks away. She was still slightly blinded by the tears in her eyes and couldn't see where she was going. She took a right turn quickly and stopped to catch her breath. Her boss? A drug runner? 8 years? Big Break didn't seem like the kind of pony that would do something like that. Right? She wondered if Tuck knew anything about it. Then she gasped. Tuck! What if they went after Tuck next? Oh no, that poor little stallion. She looked back over her shoulder to the street. No sign of them. Good, she thought. I lost him. Unfortunately, she found herself in another alley, a brick wall in front of her. Oh great, a dead end. This is brilliant. This is when the murderers creep out of the shadows and kill you with a really big knife. She shook her head. That was a stupid thought. Damn it, Vinyl Scratch, you watch too many movies, she said to herself.
Yes, you do,
called out a cold voice. Vinyl turned around and was face to face with the two suited killers. This alley was a bit more lighted than the other, and she could better see the two ponies before her. One of them, the stallion, was a deep red-orange with a black mane. His cutie mark was a weird shield or something, and he wore a name tag that read, Scolder. The other, the mare, was a bland dark yellow with a red mane. She had the exact same cutie mark. Her name tag read, Mully. Vinyl attempted to scream, but the stallion held her mouth shut.
Don't scream,
he said calmly.
We aren't going to kill you.
He flashed a warm smile at Vinyl before he let go of her mouth.
No! Leave me alone!
Vinyl screamed in terror. The mare now held her mouth shut. Shut the fuck up and listen, she barked, letting go of Vinyl's mouth. Vinyl then shut the fuck up and listened.
We're agents from the EBI, Equestrian Bureau of Investigation.
The stallion started, flashing a fancy badge made of shiny brass. His partner held out a similar badge. The badges looked exactly like their cutie marks. The mayor continued.
We were sent to neutralize Miss Brake due to her blatant refusal to follow the law, she said,
making a head gesture back towards the club.
Now normally we'd have to follow regulations and kill you. Please don't kill me,
Vinyl cried out anxiously. The stallion growled.
We are not, I repeat, are not going to kill you,
he snapped, clearly annoyed.
Right. We've decided that it would be more beneficial to the EBI if we were to...
He paused to think. The mayor stepped in for him.
If we were to adopt you into the agency, she said.
Adopt? Don't you mean abduct? Vinyl questioned, calming down a little. EBI? Agents? Her eyes lit up. She was going to be a secret agent. But the gruesome image of Big Break's corpse flashed in her mind. No, this was all a ruse so they could rape and kill her.
No, stay away! I don't believe either of you! You just killed, no, murdered my boss!
Vinyl said, scooting away from the two.
We had no choice. She was a member of the... Look, we don't have to explain ourselves to you. You're either coming with us alive or coming with us dead. Your choice,
Molly explained, cocking her pistol with the weird glove. Vinyl gulped. The way she saw it, she was going to die either way. Might as well do it the easy way.
All right. I'll go with you. Just when you kill me, make it quick,
she said, standing and slowly walking closer to the two. Molly sighed heavily.
Put her out. I'm tired of hearing this,
she said, handing Scolder a syringe filled with a clear liquid.
All right,
Scolder said.
Vinyl
told him. Why was she introducing herself to murderers? Something about Scolder made her feel safe. Maybe he wasn't going to kill her, but she wouldn't put it past Molly to do it.
All right, Vinyl. Hold still. This'll hurt for a minute, and then it'll all go away.
Scolder smiled and jabbed the needle point into Vinyl's neck. She felt the pinch, and then everything started to spin. She felt weightless, that is, until she hit the concrete floor.
Call in an extraction crew. We've got to get her to headquarters ASAP,
Molly said to Scolder, nudging the unconscious unicorn with her hoof.
We've got some tests to run.
Well, I hope that turned out okay and set the tone for what this plot will eventually entail. Just to mention also, there are a lot of characters who show up over this whole story. Some are original, some are from the show, so I'll be coming up with quite a few voices over the course of this reading. Again, I apologize if a few aren't turning out the best, but what can you do with a voice as strange as mine? Anyway, thanks for listening. Leave a comment if you like, and I hope to record Chapter 3 soon. See you later, everypony.